Hi guys, and welcome to the Business as Unusual show. We are episode 59, would you believe? Lockdown continues, so we continue. If you're new to the channel, my name is Luke. I'm the CEO of Sleeping Giant Media and Giant Campus. And as I said, this is the Business as Unusual show, which we started many months ago in the first lockdown. With the objective of interviewing different business people from different sectors, testing them on their mastermind knowledge. This is a new quiz for 2021, and hopefully making isolation feel a little bit less isolating. So as we go through, please say hi in the chat. We're keeping an eye out for that. And any questions that you have for our guest, again, put them in the chat as we go along. Let's have a quick look at what is going on in the news. In the news this week. I don't know if you heard me. I was getting used to these transitions. So in a week where many parts of the UK have been treated to a lockdown snow day, seeing kids and grown-ups alike taking to the hills with their sledges and snowmen, Storm Darcy sweeps across northern Europe, causing disruptions to transport and basic warmth, really. It's been really chilly. Over the pond, SpaceX, Tesla, and CEO and all-round future boy Elon Musk spiked the price of Bitcoin by almost 20% by announcing the car manufacturer has purchased $1.5 billion of cryptocurrency on Monday, taking the price to an astonishing $46,000 per Bitcoin, a step closer to coolness for all those 90s nerds out there who bought it at $13 back in 2013. And cat and dog owners across the internet rejoice as South Korea announced the news that we've all been waiting for. A COVID test for pets. Your coughing kitty or panting pooch will still need to self-isolate as well as maintain a 2-meter social distance if they test positive for the virus. Experts have suggested 2 meters with a kitten? Are you nuts? So let's close our eyes and imagine that we're all surrounded by puppies and kittens, thinking happy thoughts, and conclude hump day for another week with some business as unusual. Hi guys, and welcome back to the show. This is the Business as Unusual show, and episode 59, did I say? I've even lost track of it. Yeah, 59, would you believe? So yeah, do say hi in the chat, and any questions that you have as we go along, please do put them in there. Today's show, we're going to cover off the burning question of the week, which is around snow days. Have we seen the end of those? We're also going to chat to our guest as well, Georgina Treloar as well. So we're going to find out from her, talking a lot about sustainability and how potentially the pandemic has impacted our goals and aspirations in both positive and negative ways. And then we're going to put her through our Mastermind challenge, which is new for 2021. So without further ado, let's say hello to Georgina. Hello there. How are you doing?
Hi, Luke. Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Welcome to the show. So yeah, I mean, kind of getting off straight at the back. Can you just give a brief introduction to yourself and the work that you do?
I'm a district councillor for Hythe with the Green Party. As well as that, I'm completing a PhD part-time in sociology at the University of Kent. But professionally, I'm a copywriter, and I've worked with brand agencies and marketing for many years. So that's my bread and butter.
What do you do in your spare time? Sounds like you might not have too much.
My son. And I play music as well, so that's my main hobby.
What instrument do you play?
I'm classically trained in tuned percussion, so I play concert xylophone and vibraphone, glockenspiel, and drums. I played drums in bands for many years, but also classically trained in piano and other weird instruments. I've got a collection, but I won't rattle them off.
Wowzers, that is a lot there. As soon as you say Tubular Bells, I think my mind goes straight. Is it Mike Oldfield? Is that right?
Yeah. So tune percussion. I've never actually played tubular bells, but I did all my exams in like xylophone and vibraphone.
Very cool.
Timpani. I did timpani.
Awesome. My cousin's, I think, I can't remember what university he's at. He's in London at the moment, currently learning percussion and drums as well. So yeah, very cool. That's wow. That's a hobby there.
A good way to get out one's frustrations, hitting things and music along the way.
I'm guessing at the moment that's the drums are getting some good use at the moment, given the fact of lockdown and the frustrations that's kind of the world that surrounds us at the moment.
Well, it's funny you say that because I set them up in my son's bedroom. He's 8, and just let him go for it over lockdown, and he has managed to teach himself pretty well, I must say, with minimal input from me.
Amazing.
No complaints from the neighbours yet, or the council.
That was about to say that was my next question, but okay, good to hear. Yeah, that probably wouldn't go too well.
Reasonable.
That's amazing, guys. I'm just looking at the chat, and you can probably I don't know if it's working. It shouldn't appear just underneath Georgina's window, but it's not appearing. But I can see that. So hi to Callie. Good to see you again. Thanks for tuning in again. And I saw your message on LinkedIn. Best of luck with your applications as well. Cool. So I'm going to come straight into the burning question of the week, which is an interesting one this week, looking at the impact of snow days as well. So bear with me 1 second. So yeah, the burning question of the week: are snow days a thing of the past for schools and offices? So yeah, what's your thoughts on this one? Because obviously businesses used to. I mean, when we had snow days at the office, it was kind of there was an element of excitement as well when it was all kind of oh, can we make it to the office and maybe we can just sort of stay at home. But obviously the downside to kind of yet another downside, I guess, or upside, depending how you look at it, is that we're all used to now working at home. So snow days aren't necessarily happening. What is it? Are we ever going to see them ever again?
Well, I think there's two very interesting angles that we can look at this question, Luke. I think, yeah, you're right. Our change in working practices, working from home means that we're not necessarily impacted by having to travel. Obviously, schools are a different issue with staff being able to get in. But for me, I read that question as are we actually, how much snow are we going to see in the future? We know that global heating means that here in Kent, we're going to see much warmer winters. KCC have commissioned a climate change risk and impact assessment, which does state that we're going to see an average increase in temperatures between 1 and 2 degrees over the next 20 or 30 years, and another 3 or 4 degrees warmer winters by 2080. So so interesting question. And for me, I'm very, very, concerned, and a central focus of a lot of my work is on the breakdown of our climate. So, whether we'll in fact see snow during the winters over the coming decades looks highly unlikely. So on that angle,
taking that question, we took a sort of a fun question there, and you've made it really real. But I mean, it's a very good point.
Well, my job.
No. So a question for you on that, because my understanding as well is that so overall the temperature will increase, the global temperature will increase, which obviously then has its kind of knock-on implications for kind of ice caps, and also ocean level rises as well, which again I think there's been a recent report showing low-lying areas, particularly in Kent, that would be affected by rising sea levels, and that was quite frightening when you see the land mass that can affect. But because of the global temperature changes, does it also mean that we'll see more extreme weather? So, for example, the like of snow, because this is, I believe, due to kind of the impact on kind of moving the Gulf Stream more south because of the heating of other areas of the planet. Will we see those snow days, but potentially, more extreme weather conditions? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, my understanding of, when the Arctic heats up and we do get that sort of the change in the, in the jet stream coming down. But I think on the whole, the science is, and reporting, even on our sort of local government level, is looking at wetter winters, wetter and warmer winters. So extreme to the degree that our winters will be wetter and warmer, but our summers will also be hotter and drier. So
because last summer was it was baking hot, wasn't it? There was one day where I just remember, I think I posted on social media where it was like, normally I'd be kind of excited about it being hot, but it was almost a kind of an element of, it doesn't feel right for the UK. It was so hot that it was almost a case, it felt like, is this the sort of beginning of the end? I think I went a bit tragic with it, but it was like, it was so hot, it was so out of the ordinary. It was noticeably a lot warmer last summer.
Yeah, and we've been seeing record-breaking temperatures year on year. And that's, unfortunately, that's the reality of it, which makes action on climate so urgent. So I'm sorry to have to steer your fun question into that, but that's just how I read it. That's the reality.
It's a good point. It's a very, very good point.
But the other side of that, I'm a huge advocate for sort of environmental issues, but also for social issues, and how we reconfigure our working lives is also really important to me, and the social implications of that. So, that other side of the story is important to me as well. And working from home and better work-life balance. Perhaps if we had a better work-life balance, reduced working hours, it still means good productivity. We'd have more time outside of work to go and enjoy the snow that when we do have it. Yeah. So maybe that reconfiguring of our working lives might not mean that we can get off school or work, but we'll have more time in our lives to make snow with our families.
Yeah, because that's it. I mean, like normally we have obviously, we had a snow cess. So if there was snow when we were working back in the office, what the process was for that. But obviously this year it's like, oh, it's snowing. Oh yeah, we don't have to do anything because we're already working at home. It's like it's already kind of something that's happening. And I guess from a productivity level, for a lot of businesses that over the last 8 months have transitioned to remote working, suddenly it's not the problem it once was in terms of the impact on output for a lot of businesses. So it's kind of a good thing for businesses.
No, quite. Which is why I think what can sometimes, may have seemed like a radical idea sort of a year or so ago, more homeworking, even though businesses were doing it, but really to sort of move into that on this scale seemed quite radical, but it shows that it can actually work. Yeah. There are upsides and downsides, of course, but it's why I've got faith in other sort of what the seemingly radical policies, actually could have these wonderful benefits and not be as sort of dramatic or sort of benefit our lives in really quite good ways. We're very adaptable, I think, people.
Absolutely.
And this whole crisis has shown that. Insofar as adapting our ways of working.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Well, I'm going to jump out of this one, and we've kind of heard about you already, and I didn't realise about all the sort of the musical instruments and the kind of the classical training there, which is somewhat intimidating. But we're going to go to the elevator pitch and find out even more as well. 1 second. Okay, so this is the elevator pitch. I'm sorry, I don't know why chat isn't working. That's annoying. I can see the chat though, so do say hi. Again, thanks for your comment there, Callie. The comment was, I've heard complaints from friends on placement that they've missed the most of the snow due to working indoors all day and it being unsafe to go out after sunset. Yeah. So again, you miss the fun because you're working at home, whereas in the office, if you probably called a snow day and said, take the afternoon off. I know that's what I was upset about, the possibility of not having those snow days. But anywho, right, okay. So this is just the elevator pitch. So obviously we've heard a bit about you already, but I guess could you maybe expand on the work that you do, particularly for the Green Party as well? So kind of what the ambitions are and what you're hoping to do in the role that you have. So you have 60 seconds, which I will start now.
Okay. Well, just a bit more of a background on me. I started uni in international and comparative politics, and then took a creative turn into writing, and got music going along the side of that. I'm passionate about helping to drive an environmentally sustainable society and economy. There are some world-class economists doing really exciting work on this, championing economic models that would allow people to thrive, be creative, be entrepreneurial, and live happy and fulfilling lives without trashing the planet. For me, the Green Party embodies this thinking by championing policies like the universal basic income. Its policies are built on protecting people and planet, and I think the Green Party policy represents an intelligent and compassionate approach to politics and economics. I think that's why also we make good local councillors, because we listen and we champion people's concerns for the environment.
Look at that. With time to spare, and I've just added chat back. I was supposed to remove the time. Very good. So there's lots there, isn't there? And yeah, and really, really interesting. And we're gonna jump to the halfway point, because we're unbelievably already at that stage, and then we're gonna dig into those kind of key points a little bit more, because I'd love to understand more about what those challenges will now be now that we've gone through the pandemic. Because I think there was almost a plan that was maybe not moving fast enough before. What has happened? Has it sped up? What are the good things? What are the bad things? So we're going to dig into that just after this, and a short preview of Giant Wednesdays.
Doesn't lockdown suck? It does, because we can't film anyone. There's a little bit of a problem. And you could film someone, through the webcam setting, a kind of Zoom thing, but it's about standing out. And how are you supposed to do that in any way, shape or form? So unfortunately, whether you like it or not, I'm basically going to have to record myself. So yeah, coming Wednesday, I'm very excited to announce that we're going to have our brand new sort of take on Giant Wednesday, called Giant Wednesday Creative. And this is definitely 100%.
Okay, right, we are back, and I don't know if I cropped that too early. Apologies if I did. I don't have the sound for it, so I didn't know if Alex had finished. Who is this guy? That is Alex. He's in my ear. He's the producer of the show, and he'll be presenting a variation, a fully planned version of Giant Wednesday coming up soon as well. So that should be really, really interesting. I think I cropped the wrong bit. I cut it too early, so sorry about that. Right, we were just talking there about the Green Party, the work that you do for that. And one of the things I'm really interested in is the impact around the pandemic and what that's done for climate change, but also for sustainability. Because I think initially there's some, I remember there was initially, I think in Italy, there was dolphins that were swimming around in kind of cleaner waters because the waters weren't being stirred up by boat traffic. We're seeing kind of really positive, less people travelling generally. We're seeing some good things, but then you add in non-disposable masks, the ones that are kind of going to be left, you can see them lying around again. People at home using their heaters more than they would do before. What do you think, what has changed, do you think, from almost a year and a half ago in terms of the objectives and the challenges that the world faced to now? What are those differences?
Well, I think the pandemic and the challenges that it's presented us with have allowed us to think beyond business as usual. I wouldn't claim for a second that it's all been positive, but the ways in which we've changed our lives, such as working from home and limiting travel, they have had environmental benefits, but I'm under no illusion that they will be sort of enduring benefits, or that, this sort of what we've seen in the pandemic will endure unless we just sort of rehome our thinking. You can't, we know about the climate and ecological crisis now. It's being reported on widely now across all spectrums, the whole spectrum of media outlets. And I think it's just like tuning in and realizing that a different way of doing things is possible. There was a lot of talk about opening up, greener cycling and pedestrian infrastructure, and I think there are still many good things to come. But you know, a lot of that was kicked off because of the pandemic, and funds were released, and I don't think it's nearly enough currently. But you know, the next 10 years we're going to see some very rapid changes. For instance, new petrol and diesel cars are going to, you know, cease to be sold in 10 years' time, and that's, you know, going to transform things. Not everyone is going to, you know, convert to an electric vehicle, because that's not sustainable either. So I think the pandemic has allowed us to use our imaginations a bit more about how we can transform our lives and society, and it's shown us that not all of those changes are necessarily bad. Being green and sustainable isn't. It's not about. I don't like it when it's sort of framed as giving up things, as making sacrifices. They're actually real positives. In so many ways. I mean, cycling and walking, having safer streets, you know, which are safer for our children, you know, fewer cars on the roads, or just reconfiguring, you know, how we what we prioritize in our neighborhoods. You know, are we prioritizing you know, cars and having this perpetual fear of our sort of children being in danger just running around on the streets, or do we just reconfigure it and get people out on their bikes and on their feet more, make our streets safer? People are healthier for it, happier for it. Yeah, that kind of thing. So I guess
and what can people? Yeah, absolutely. And again, you know, there's you said it was sort of the reframing of it, almost in a sense of some people see it as a sort of a sacrifice and sort of having to stop doing certain things, but actually the things that they could do, if you reframe them, are really, really positive in a number of ways, not just for the environment, but, you know, health and well-being, and, you know, as you say, sort of safer streets for our children as well. So what are the changes that you think are most important that either people have made that they keep, so from the pandemic that they've changed and they kind of keep doing, or what are the changes just generally that people have to consider, or should consider? I say have to because obviously you don't have to, but, you know, that would be beneficial for the environment and potentially themselves as well.
Well, I think for businesses to be able to continue their staff, you know, working from home, I think, you know, reconsidering, you know, how often we're using air travel and cars to get around. You know, maybe people have looked more locally for interesting places to visit. I
mean, obviously, food and eating has been a big thing during lockdown as well. Like, lots of people exploring kind of new things in the kitchen. And obviously January just happened, and veganuary, a lot of people kind of starting up the vegan side of the market. What's your view around kind of diet and nutrition and the subsequent impact on the environment as well?
Yeah, well, I'm vegan because of those you know, those big impacts of agriculture, and also you know, compassion for animals. But, you know, I went vegan largely because of the unsustainable large-scale farming practices. I'm
by the way,
cautious
just fully supportive of that. I just wait for other people to say it, then I'm like, yeah, that's me too as well. So I just, you know.
Yeah. But it's interesting. I mean, it's a difficult conversation to have without sounding like you're proselytizing or getting on a soapbox. I mean, of course, we know that you know, red meat is highly sort of carbon intensive, and you know, the information is out there for people to discover for themselves. I'm not going to go around and tell people that you know, they have to go vegan. Just reducing your intake. I think knowledge is key, really. You need to come to your own conclusions. I think when it comes to persuading people, you know, you're most persuasive if you allow someone to come to their own conclusion. And so to encourage them to just investigate and understand a little bit more about where the food on their plate is coming from, I think is the most important way to to encourage behaviour change, not getting on a soapbox about it.
I agree. Sean Staunton, however, basically did that, and that's why I was like, oh god. And I looked into it, and I was like, oh okay, fair enough. And then I finally made the leap. Now 3 years ago, would you believe, as well, which is time.
But it's interesting. I mean, more like people I would never have assumed. I mean, I've not been vegan all my life or anything, but people who, you wouldn't necessarily pick as having made that life choice. Quite, athletic blokes and whatnot. They're turning to those sort of diets, and as a really positive, healthy way that they can still get. People can still get all your nutrients and protein and
Absolutely. And Sean's in the chat saying hello. Someone on Twitch, come on, positivity, planet will be destroyed anyway. Come on, dude. That's we got to work towards this. Never say that. Anywho, right, that's enough. We're gonna move on. There's loads of yeah. I to be fair, Nell in the chat saying I never thought that Sean would have gone vegan either. No, that's true. I was the opposite of vegan before going vegan. It was a pretty big switch as well. The lounge lizard gamer, I went veggie in November, and I've got to say I've not looked back. There we go. Spread the word. Cool. Right. Okay. So we're going to now jump into our Mastermind challenge. Okay. Let's have a look. And we've got your topic, I believe, is Australia. So we're going to go to that scene and we'll find out more. Okay, it's Mastermind challenge time. So I think I've got the leaderboard set up. Let's have a quick look. I'm going to disappear behind the leaderboard. We have 2 rounds, okay, and Georgina has selected her topic of choice, which is Australia as well. So we're going to put her through her paces in just a second. We can see on the board here, we've got Rob Dando from Finally in the lead with 7 points. Rebecca from University of Kent in 6th. With 6 points in second place. And Andrew Dicker also tied in second place from Geo Brand. You are at the bottom there, TBC. So all to play for as well. Anyone in chat wants to get involved, please do answer the questions. We're about 20 seconds ahead of you. So if you answer it, it's unlikely you're going to give away the answer. So don't worry and do get involved. Okay. Are you ready, Georgina? Are you standing by?
Yeah, I just want to say that I chose this topic because I don't profess to be a expert in anything. I think the more one learns in life, the more one realises how little you know. So I just chose where I'm from, hoping that there's some background knowledge.
No, don't start talking your way out of this. Don't start taking. You've made your choice. Okay, this is the same for everybody. Everybody says exactly. Start talking themselves out of this. Come on, I believe in you. Right, here we go. And 60 seconds on the clock. How many states does Australia have?
Oh my goodness.
You can
5 and 2 territories.
5 and 2 territories. Someone quickly Google that because I have got a different answer. In what year did Australia get their
6 and 2 territories?
Okay. In what year did Australia get their first female prime minister? You can pass as well.
Oh gosh, Julia Gillard. Well, Kevin Rudd was what? 2007, and then he was 2011. Was it 2012? 2013?
2010. Moving on. What constellation ID is depicted on the Australian flag?
What
constellation is ID?
Oh, it's
Southern Cross, correct. Whose wedding on the 1st of July 1987 captivated the world?
The only one I could imagine you're talking about is Scott and Charlene.
It is correct. What is Australia's? And time is up, so take your time for this one.
Oh God, I don't want to know.
No, it's all right. It's not what you think. It's not what you think. What, have you got any guesses?
I said coal, but that's just like my grim analysis of politics there at the moment. I don't know, wheat, beef.
It is incorrect. The correct answer is iron ore.
There we go.
So I believe you have 3 correct. So we've got the first one, which was the guys have quickly been Googling. They've said that is correct. The second one, which was in what year did Australia get their first female prime minister, which was 2010, and you got 2 others correct. So we're 3 points, which is not bad, as we move now into round number 2 as well, which is now into the general knowledge questions. Okay, so here we go. What does HE stand for on the periodic table?
Helium.
What did Jack Dorsey, Noah Glass, Biz Stone and Evan Williams, I can't see the end of the question, collectively create? Jack Dorsey.
No idea.
Okay, skip it. We'll come back to that if we need to. To a single decimal point, how many kilometres in a mile?
1.4.
Incorrect. Where in England would you find the theme park Dreamland?
Margate.
What month was Prince George born?
No idea.
Who is the highest spiritual leader of Tibet?
Well, the Dalai
Correct.
Lama.
What is the Papava rohatus flower better known as?
Rhododendron?
Poppy, that's probably my fault. Who plays Emily in Paris?
I've not watched it, I'm afraid.
I have no idea, but the correct answer was Lily Collins. So let's have a look. So we have got, we had the second one, which was, what did Jack Dorsey, Noah Glass, Biz Stone and Evan Williams collectively create? The answer was Twitter. The mile to the single decimal point, to a single decimal point, how many kilometres in a mile? The correct answer was 1.6. I think you said 1.4. So very close, but not close enough. And Prince George was born in July. So I believe you had 3 correct answers there. Let's just put the scoreboard back up. Let's see if the guys have updated this one. Let's have a look. Guys, quickly, you can update this one. So you will go into a joint 2nd/4th place. You can see Danny Windsor updating it as we speak right there. That's still a very impressive score. So you've done a very good job there.
Not too shabby. Yeah. If I took my time counting the Australian states, did I get that one right?
Yes, you did get that one correct. Yeah. So you got that one right. So you made it count. I was kind of like there's a timer. There's time, and normally you'd hear the timer, but I can't at the moment. So, but thank you very much for being part of the show, and best of luck with all the work that you're doing as well. There's a lot of challenges, but there's I think keeping that approach and that positive attitude that you clearly have is going to really help stand us all in good stead. So thank you very much for being part of the show.
Thank you very much for having me, Luke.
Right, guys, we are going to jump out now to where are we now? That is it from us today. Thanks very much for joining. Thanks for the chat as well, getting involved. Those are questions there. I don't know why I didn't show up, but I managed to see it all. So thank you very much for all those comments and questions coming in via all the different social channels. If you like the content from today, do remember to subscribe, like, and do all the things on the various different platforms that you're watching on. And we'll be back again next week. It's, again, a mad, crazy world that we live in. But it is just business as unusual. Thank you.